All right, guys, welcome. So I sent out an email. Is your business on fire yet? I just saw Rosia like fanning herself down. Her business is on fire. All right, I love it. Love it. No, I'm just messing with you, right? Having fun. I said your name wrong too. It's Rosario, isn't it? All right, cool. All right, anybody want to share anything real quick while everybody's logging in? I love sending out that last minute reminder and you're like, oh, crud, it's 10 o'clock. I got to get on. So I'm glad you all are committed and here, but anybody want to unmute and share anything that they picked up or any bumps you're running into that could help you smooth out the path?
That's why they're late, because it's 11 o'clock here.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. And I'm usually good about that. 10 o'clock in Central Time. I'm Kansas City. So 11 o'clock there.
Okay.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to go with the flow when you have businesses in multiple time zones.
Well, yeah, when you become a coach, like especially, I mean, I was coaching 80 top agents with maps for a long time. So I had clocks on my wall of all the different time zones. So I could always just go right there. And Hawaii's was always the funnest one because it's like 5 hours off. So yeah.
So I had an aha this morning from one of our calls.
Okay.
It's one right after the other. So, people are always asking yes or no questions. Do you know anybody? Well, no, I don't. Well, it's not do you know, it's who do you know?
Yep.
So I'm going to actually do this for myself and just write out a bunch of questions, that don't require a yes or no answer, because sometimes I draw a blank, and there's tons of questions that we need to be asking, because he who asks the questions is in control of the conversation. And as long as you keep them, engaged and using tie downs and having them say yes and nodding your head yes, I went to a for sale by owner, and she happens to be an agent, and she says to me, wow, you're asking all the right questions. She's an agent for 30 plus years. She's like, wow, that's so smart. You're asking, wow, I never thought of that. And I was asking all the questions, and here we have an experienced, seasoned agent. It's probably on her way to, well, she's moving and selling her house, so she's going on. But I kept asking the right questions, and she was like, wow. So just ask questions.
Yep. We call them WOPEN questions. The question should always have a W. When, why, who.
That's what I do. Who, what, when, where, why, how.
Yep. So they're WOPENs, open-ended questions. That's an awesome find. I'm glad you picked up on that. And that, again, is another reason why scripting is very important. So yeah, we've got this condensed down to an hour to get you guys excited about the information. And then when you commit to your business to really get more productivity and double your business and triple your business, you will take the time to find those accountability partners and the script partners and practice the scripts. I'll kind of give you a simple one today when we get to that point where we're talking about just scripting and accountability and stuff, because today is a lot about putting it all together. Anybody else have? I
just want to say thank you to Ariane, because Ariane, I'm just right before this call, I was working on my first command design, and I'm announcing that I sold my first listing, and literally in the message there it says, do you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell real estate? And I'm going to change it to who do you know?
Woo-hoo.
And I think that made a difference between getting a lead and not getting a lead. So thank you.
I'm hoping we know that I can't share my screen. Oh yeah, we're all set. Of course we are. We got it all set. All right. Anybody else on that? That's awesome share right there. All right. Here. Oh, there we go. Get back to my big screen where I can see all of your faces. Well, come on, Techie. There you go. All right, guys, you ready to jump into the information then?
Yep.
As usual, loaded, packed, full of all kinds of cool stuff. And then I get to share my little fingerprint on there of just things I've been through. As soon as I find my cursor, I can get there. There we go. And just my personal information on how I've built my real estate business. So yeah, I mean, I get to be here as the coach, and I've gone through the certifications and I've coached a lot of people. And in reality, what makes that fun and easy for me, and really fun, because you want to have fun what you're doing, is because I have the experience. I'm still in the field doing it. I can't forget what it's like. Have you guys ever been to a speaker or a trainer where you can tell they haven't been in the business for a while? So it's just real world stuff. And all I can share with you is what I specifically did to grow my business. And I like to break things down to the so stupid simple that I'll actually end up doing it. So that's a blessing that I was smart enough to hang around the right people and get with the right company and do all that stuff and actually read the book and then actually implement it. So I feel kind of lucky on all that stuff. So anyway, jumping into it, jump in if you have any questions, clarity, if you need help pulling something together, whatever, and we'll go from there. So again, Ignite is all about working on growing our business and then running our business. So these last 9 sessions have been about how to grow it. The next 9 sessions are the specifics on what to do to run the business and apply these things. So just please keep in mind, we're not mastering this class. You wouldn't master this class if you took it and it was 4 hours every single day. I know I've said that a lot. You're definitely not going to master it in an hour, but you want to plug into the information as much as possible. And you'll see where everything that we've covered for the last 9 sessions starts to show up in the next 9 sessions. And you'll see where they kind of fit, just like what you guys just shared about who do you know, right? So that's what this class is all about. And today we're on growing your business and running your business, pulling it all together as we transition over to the elements section. So today really is just a roadmap. The roadmap for our day today is about growing your business, running your business, setting weekly and daily objectives. And this one I'm going to kind of hit on a little bit. And I hope that you can answer the question honestly to yourself of, are you really setting those daily and weekly objectives? And do you have true accountability to take everything? Just think about the last 9 sessions. I mean, if you go back through your books and anywhere you wrote notes or put a star on something or highlighted it, review it, like go back through all 9 Spark sessions and all your notes for the last 9 sessions, and just all that highlighted stuff, put it on a sheet of paper. And how exciting would it be if you actually got that into place? And have you already started, put it in place, put a check mark next to that one. But whatever's not checked off, even if it's everything, it's probably just as simple as finding somebody to hold you accountable to just say, you know, hey, I really want to get this in place. And I'm going to give you some tips on that too, where it's not necessarily you got to hire a coach or find an accountability partner, but I got a really, really fun way that will definitely stretch your mind today on how you can master a lot of this stuff. So the other thing is, you know, that we're talking about the daily habits, and it's about building the database. And if you write this down, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, it's 5 people a day connect. Now, during Ignite, it's 10-4, right? It's 10 people because we're igniting, we're infusing our business. So you go for 10. But what I'm talking about is 5 really good connections that you can write a handwritten note to. The other 5 might be connections. Maybe you didn't connect. Maybe you do a branded note on that one, you know, that it was great connecting. And if I can help you, but that one you could have an I, me, or my in it, you know, if they're just an internet buyer and you're setting them up on a search. Again, if you really connected and you found out stuff about their family, their occupation, their recreation, dreams, that's now onto the relationship side. But if you do have somebody on the phone, because you're doing 10, right? Every day during Ignite, you want 10. So if you got some of those more shallow conversations, maybe they didn't hang up on you, you know, but they were nice, but you didn't really find out anything about them. That's an okay still to get a note in. In fact, that's a branded card right there. because you're still working to get them to open up and get into a relationship with you. So let's see here. Oh, script practice. Let me tell you something about script practicing. Here's how you can practice. It's always great to find a script partner. I have not seen that work successfully, consistently over time much at all. You're A, you're B. Okay, now give each other your name and number, and you become accountability partners. The intentions are all good, and then nobody calls anybody, and there's no scripting going on. Now, I know there's a handful of great people that do meet and do scripts, and these guys, I mean, they're in it every day, and they're getting better every single day. They're not winging it, right? So one of the things that I did on scripting is I recorded myself when I'm doing my calls. So I've given you one other tip, is that little notebook that if you go to that for sale by owner and you didn't walk out with the listing, what was the last thing they said that didn't list with you? So I'm going to use the last example from Ariane. Is it Ariane or Ariana? You don't have to answer. You'll tell me.
Ariane, it's like
Ariane.
Marianne without the M.
So if that last thing that person said was, well, I'm a real estate agent, it's like, oh, okay, probably not going to get that listing. No, I list real estate agents' houses all the time in Kansas. Well, not all the time. I list other real estate agents, my competitors' properties. See, I built the reputation even just with my local agents as a co-op agent, that I'm telling you, when that bad, ugly divorce situation happens and one's a realtor and one's the other spouse, right? The last thing this spouse is going to do is let their spouse be the listing agent. So who do they call? The neutral party is Brad Korn. And this is my competitors. So I've probably done this a half a dozen times in my career where they call me to list their property. So, but what I'm saying is, on that notebook, I'm a real estate agent. It's like, oh, so I'm probably not going to get the listing then, right? So write that down. I'm a listing agent, or I am a real estate agent. Now go back and find some kind of script or 2 or 3 scripts that you could have used, right? Because I know there's some scripts in there about, you don't want to use a family friend, you might ruin your relationship. There's all kinds of scripts out there, right? So find 3 scripts for that one. You do that, and man, what if you became the agent that lists all the other agents' houses? But that's one thing. And then the second thing is to record yourself. When you're talking on the phone, you're going to have a one-sided recording, but you're really listening to how you answer stuff. And guys, I did this for probably 3 years. I recorded myself talking. I recorded my listing presentations. So it was only for my own use. So you can keep yourself protected however you think you legally have to protect yourself. But I would turn it on when I go sat in a listing appointment, and I would listen to that over after I left the listing appointment. And if you need to tell them. I didn't. I mean, I was just listen to it to see what questions they asked and how I responded. And I would write down the questions that they had, because that became not about them and their personal information. It became the real questions that are coming up in a listing presentation. And then I delete it. I mean, nobody's getting it. I didn't share it with anybody. I'm not using it. I'm just getting questions off of there and listening to how I responded. And on those questions, if I didn't like my response, I would find a script. So scripting is huge, huge, huge. The other thing is lead generation. I mean, we talk about lead generation all the time. Keep it simple. Reconnect with the people you already know and who already know you. That is, in my book, considered lead generation. You have 1,000 people between Facebook and your cell phone list or more, and they're moving every 10 years. That's 100 people that will be moving, buying and selling real estate or moving, right? And I think even in the new MREA book, you'll see where some of those people are renters. So even if it's that, and you have 1,000 people and it's 100 people moving, it's still 70 people buying and selling real estate. And if 70 people, like we said the other day on buyer section, that 70% of all buyers own a home, right? So not all those buyers actually own a home. So now our 70 turns into like around 50 are actual home sellers, 70 are buying a home. So right now I'm back up to 130 opportunities out of 1,000 people between buy and sell. And we haven't even counted referrals yet. anybody else they might know that's buying or selling real estate. So when I take this stance of every single agent on the planet should be able to sell 100 properties a year, it's based on real numbers and light numbers, because there's not even very many real estate agents that only have 1,000 people that know who they are. If you've been in your community for 5 years or 10 years, there's no way you've only met 1,000 people in your community. You just weren't focused on it before to know that they go into your contact database, even if they aren't buying or selling real estate. It's a relationship contact, and we know they're going to move in the next 10 years. But before, we were going through that mindset, we're just looking for the next deal, looking for the next deal. We're talking to people and we're nice and we're friendly. But man, you probably, if you've been in your community for 5 or 10 years, you know over 5 or 10,000 people you have met and been with and talked to and laughed with. I mean, sitting at the local Chick-fil-A, if you guys have Chick-fil-A's, you kids like playing next door and you all start kind of talking a little, oh, you live around here? But you didn't put them in your database because you weren't thinking about it. They weren't buying or selling or whatever. They could have been visiting from another state. You're at an amusement park and you bump into somebody, you just being nice and you talk to people, and they live in California, right? They're moving from California and you get a referral fee. So anyway, I hope that's opened your mind a little bit about what lead generation really is. And I want you to take the easy path. Just add a layer of the easy path of just connecting with 5 people a day and add them to a true 8x8 and 33 touch and stay in touch with them. That drip plan, that SMART plan needs to run for 10 years. 8x8, 8 touches in 8 weeks, and then 36 touches a year for the next 9.5 years, 9 3/4 years, right? And 8x8 is only 2 months. So that's the way your mind wants to work on lead generation, is once you spend all that energy talking to them and breaking that over that hump, and you've got them talking to you 2-way, get them on that plan and never let them go. You will own your market after 5 or 10 years in real estate. Okay, I gotta stay on my slides here. People do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. And so what are your habits, right? And when you're thinking about your habits, Gary Keller talks about in the one thing, that this comment right here, but what are your habits that you are doing right now? So you think about habits. When I say that, I would imagine, well, actually, yeah, I mean, most of your habits, what's popping in your mind is I get up around 6 o'clock. If you work out, you work out. You brush your teeth, you get dressed, whatever. You might read the Bible, you might look at your goals, you might do all this. This is your habit. What I want to ask you guys today is a real serious question, and I want to ask you the same thing. What is your habit? When I say habit, you do it every day. You shower every day, right? You brush your teeth every day, I hope, right? Or at least every other day, and maybe you need to do it every day, right? But that habit, what is your habit in your business around bringing in new dollars or lead generation? And I think that's kind of a wake up call. Like, really, is there any habit? Like, it happens. A habit means you've done it enough that you actually do it subconsciously. You know, pay attention tomorrow morning when you take a shower. You'll probably do the same thing you do every day. Wash the shampoo, then do the conditioner. I do soap on this arm, then I do soap on this arm, right? I won't go any further than that for you guys. But that, you know, I do the same exact thing. Try changing it up and don't wash your hair first and do your back or something. It's weird, like you can't do it. Your habit is to do that, right? When you brush your teeth, you do it the same way every single time. What if your habit was just to feed 5 people in your database every day and find those connections? What if your habit was like you just couldn't get the day started until you got your 5 notes in the mail? What if that were your habit, right? So I hope that you are going, oh my gosh, habit, I need 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day needs to become my habit. So people ask me, do you really add 5 people to your database every day? And I'm like, I add people every day. It's like habitual. I don't even know I'm doing it. I'm doing it all day long. When I started, It was very on purpose, and it was the time block thing. And I really had to fight to protect it. And many times it didn't. For 6 months, it wasn't protected, and it always disappeared off my calendar. Oh, lead generation. But once I got the 8x8 and the 33 touch and the note and just connecting and realized that it's not about real estate, it's just about connecting, it was much easier to write the notes. So like I may have told you guys this in the beginning, I started first where I just added 5 people a day. I wasn't even doing notes. We're going way back now, like 20 years back. Or actually, it was right after the book came out when the 8x8 and 33 touch. And I think that was probably like about 2003, 4, or 5, somewhere in there. So I had been doing database work, but when I saw the 8x8 and the 33 touch and feed it every day, and it was like, oh my gosh, I really don't feed my database every day. I make connections every day. I talk about real estate. People know I'm a real estate agent, right? I got the database, I'm collecting stuff. But when I got on purpose, the first thing I had to create was feed the database every single day. Now, before I started putting all the plans together, trying to figure out the perfect letter, I mean, I spent 6 months reading every letter, changing it, rewriting it, making it mine, all this other stuff. I want the content to be perfect. And this is when I was like trying to get real estate, looking for the next deal, right? Wanted it to be so on purpose. The day I got the 8x8 and 33 touch and that 98% of the people aren't moving, I just started copying and pasting chicken soup from the soul stories, just any content that I could get, right? I just copied and pasted, did Google and just did fun little stories and how we can help you in real estate was a real estate letter. But what it did was it talked about how we helped a buyer walk out of closing with a check. When they bought their first house, they got a check after closing. And it was like a first-time home buyer program. So I found one of those letters. I'm like, oh yeah, I've done something like that. So I just copied and pasted the letter. I left Jim and Sue in there, even though it was Bob and Mary that I helped. I left Jim and Sue in the letter. I didn't care anymore because I realized content doesn't matter. They're not really reading everything I'm sending them because 98% of them aren't moving right now. It was more about just branding, seeing my name, and me staying in touch with them and being that bridge to the next phone call. So guys, here's the thing. For 6 months, 6 months wasted time trying to create the perfect drip plan and all that other stuff. Copied and pasted once I figured that out, but that didn't even happen at first. The next step I realized is I wasted 6 months trying to come up with the perfect content. So I just needed to feed them in the database. I didn't care if there was a plan they went on or not. Here, let me relate this to you right now. Use command every single day, whether you like it or whether you don't. It doesn't take much. Well, I'll tell you what command will absolutely work for you 100% of the time. Putting in a name, an address, an email, and a phone number. You can do it, will not break. It will not do that. You're going to be able to do that all day long. So do that for the next 6 months. I don't care if you figure out anything else in command. If you get into the habit after 6 months of just putting in 5 a day every day, you're going to be actually kind of a command master just because you know how to put people into the database without even thinking about it. You can do it in your sleep. But as you do that, what happened for me is 6 months in, now I'm like, okay, now I'm really stupid if I just keep doing this. I need to put them on these plans that are converting people and cultivating and all that. So now that I had those people in, even though nothing was happening with them, you do realize that I realized nothing was happening with them before I put them in. So me not doing anything for 6 months wasn't putting me behind the ball. Me doing that and creating that habit forced me into a position where now I felt more comfortable with the database, and it was much easier to figure out where the campaigns were, to figure out what plans were in there. Then I would look at them, and sometimes I just throw people on a plan and I hadn't even checked the whole thing out. But always put yourself on the plan first so you can experience it, and you could delete the letter or change it. And then I'm just changing it as it was coming out. So as I did that, I had blank letters, blank letter templates, and blank email templates. Now the blank email template, because it sends automatically, I just had a link to my website, and I didn't have more than 7 emails. I never have more than 7 emails in my campaigns over a year. That was just something I picked up from Dave Jinks. In the more detailed studies, they saw that if there was much more than 7 emails in a blast kind of format, you're just becoming white noise. Probably still becoming white noise at 7 emails a year. So even if you have a monthly newsletter that gets emailed out, in my mind, taking that that tip from Dave into consideration, 5 of those emails are worthless. So I'll let them count as 7. I'll let 7 of my 12 count as my 7 emails. And now I need to add in 10 letters and 3 social media touches and 4 phone calls and a birthday card and an anniversary card to build my 36. So I would only count 7 of those emails. And that's about it. So anyway, that as I was building it, those templates were blank. So I was adding people in. Now, when I started applying the plans, it was actually printing blank letters out of my printer. And the same email was just going, it just said something like, wondering what a property's for sale for, visit my website. That was like my generic template. And that probably went out to people for a couple of months where they got that email once every month and a half or so. Remember, 7 emails. So that went out about once every month and a half until I started putting content in those 7 emails. Then it would change over. So hopefully that kind of, did I lose anybody on campaigns, action plans, content? Anybody need any more clarity on that?
No, Brad, it's all good. And I understand what you're talking about, mixing up the way the touches so that it's multimedia. It's voice, it's text, it's email, it's website, so that you're not just, with the automatic delete, hey, I see this guy everywhere. I had a question because I've set my people, I've had 4 open houses in the past month, and I take everybody from the open house and I put them into command, and then I put them onto like a neighborhood nurture because I know where they're looking. So, and I had one person actually do unsubscribe. And so right now I'm thinking, hey, that should have been my trigger to call them and say, hey, why'd you unsubscribe to my stuff? But I didn't, I let it go. And I was like, oh, they're not interested. But I mean, is that okay, that's a trigger, right?
Well, so even better yet, how many call triggers are in that neighborhood drip plan? None. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. There's 1 or 2. It's
yeah. So add, so you can take that plan, that neighborhood nurture plan, you can add a step at the beginning that starts on day 0, and you want it to be a to-do to write a handwritten note.
Okay.
So here's what's interesting. Wait, they were at the open house. I didn't get their address. Okay, we need to change that part of the system, right? Otherwise, they'll just continue to unsubscribe or not pay attention. And that's the one you saw. The other ones just put you on a delete spam on their side, right? Yeah. So add a note, and then add a phone call to follow up the note. Maybe if that's happening too soon or regularly, then scoot your call up, right? Mm-hmm. And it's also the message that goes out there too. So when you're talking to them at the open house, what you want to do, like these emails, don't just assume that because it's real estate emails, they'll be clicking it all the time because they're busy in life. What you have to do is create so much value behind this email. Like, what I'm about to send you is gold. I'm talking gold, right? So here's the concept I want you to get. If you're at the open house, this person that you're talking about, Scott, and they're at the open house, and I say, listen, do you really want to buy a house? And it's like, yeah, I would like to someday. I mean, we saw this open house, we're coming in, whatever it was, or yeah, we're looking, whatever. It's like, listen, let me tell you how to take advantage of the current market. Script right here, right? Let me tell you how to take advantage of the current market. You're missing all the good deals. Now, I know you've heard this script before, guys, that the good houses sell fast for a reason, because they're the good houses. So good houses always sell. So I use that in my script, and I say the best houses and the best deals don't make it to a lot of the websites. I can plug you directly into the system that real estate agents use. You don't have access to it, but I can push it out to you. I can get you an instant notification. You will get that property the second it comes on the market for me. And I'm telling you, when you get my email, this thing's like gold, right? That's what I'm talking from. This thing is so important that if it looks decent on your computer screen and you flip through the pictures, drive by it as soon as you get out of the office, or you're going for lunch or on your way home. You will literally be one of the first people that will see it in the marketplace. You'll probably know about it before most real estate agents. Now, if I put that in front of everyone that I put on the neighborhood nurture, do you think that outcome could increase a little bit more, right? Yeah. And then the phone call comes 2 or 3 days later, and it's like, hey, it's Scott. Are you getting the gold emails? Are you getting the special? Are you getting the hottest listings? And it's like, oh no, I didn't see that. And they just forgot already because they left the open house. It's like, no, listen, seriously, you are the first one to know about these. And I mean, if you're not moving right now, I don't have to send, no, we want to know what's going on. So now I created that sense of urgency again, and it takes 2 or 3 or 4 little blips in there other than just the emails to get them. Otherwise, it's lost in the white noise.
Yeah.
I'll give you one more example. Guys, over the rest of this week, as you're deleting chunks of emails, right when you highlight them all, before you hit delete, I want you to just skim through them. Somebody, you probably have a couple of them, that somebody's about ready to show you how to make $100,000 in real estate, and you are just about to delete the email. Don't you wonder why we do that? I mean, the guy's going to show us, or gal's going to show us how to make $100,000 in real estate from Facebook. Well, okay, but we didn't expect it. We didn't want it. We know it's probably just another program. So that's unfortunately what's happening with a lot of our stuff that we're sending them. So we are getting deleted. In fact, I take screenshots all the time of in my spam folder. My friends that have great for sale by owner programs, they're awesome. Agents are sending out just their drip pieces and they're in my spam folder. So now we might not even be getting seen. That's just crazy. So hopefully that helps a little bit, Scott. It's really adding that personal touch way back in there and mixing those mediums up so it's not just email. So I'll give you one more example. Right behind that, so they get set up. First of all, there's a to-do to set them up on the MLS search or whatever it is. So I start the nurture plan and it says, are they set up on the MLS search, right? And then 1 or 2 days later, we actually have a page that prints out. Now you can't print on command yet, maybe not. I shouldn't say that. I haven't seen it yet since I play with it all the time and see what they've enhanced. But you could do a PDF or just have a template with the to-do that says print off the MLS letter. And what it is I set myself up on a search. So I received the email so I could see what it looked like in my inbox, and I took a picture of it. And then when I clicked on the email, I took a picture of that. I put that on a piece of paper that gets mailed that said, this is what your email should look like. Even though I sent them the email, they should see it. But if it's getting spammed, this is your hot list. This is what it looks like. It's like, oh yeah, now I got it. Because like ours has something, it still says Korn Team on it, but it'll say Matrix or something like that. Same with Dotloop. So we did the same thing with whether you're using Dotloop or DocuSign. Take a picture of what the email looks like when you send your client a document, and that goes in the mail to them. Say, this is what it looks like when you get your contracts from us. Because if you guys don't realize that when they click a lot of those buttons, it takes them right into the signing forms, and it keeps jumping to the next signature, so they can't really review. It's really hard. We attach a PDF every single time. We send a PDF. This is in our to-do action item. Drop or send the PDF form of the document, and even though it's in Dotloop and it's sending it to them automatically, and the message that's defaulted in there, and hopefully I'm not getting too sidetracked, but you guys are picking up how these systems can really automate and make the process go faster. It tells them, click on the PDF to review. Once you've reviewed, if you don't have any questions, go back to the email and click the blue button and start signing. So because we would get calls and it's like, all right, I keep trying to review this and it keeps jumping to the next signature and blah. And it's like, okay, I just wasted 3 minutes walking them through Dotloop that I didn't have to do that. I could have just sent the PDF. So as you streamline your systems and create the ultimate experience, so you create an ultimate experience by there not being any confusion, right? If you go to Disneyland and you went there for the teacups and you can't figure out where they are because they moved them, you're going to have a horrible experience for a second or two. Disney will probably bring it back in line in time, but it's just no confusion. When I do webinars, when I do conferences, you guys get the email right before, because I know you're busy. And it's like, if that email comes right before and you're sitting at your computer and you're getting ready to get on, there's the link right there. I can click it. How many of you like that quick link? Raise your hand. It's like, I didn't have to go find it. It was right there from Brad right before class started, right? So I do that with everything I do. I make it so stupid simple because I'm the guy, like when I go to my calendar, it's right there in my calendar invite. My airfare, whenever I'm traveling to a conference, has got my 6-digit registration number so that when I have a trigger on my calendar to get registered for your flight 24 hours before, so I get the best seat, right? Well, now I got to dig around. Where's my code? Oh my gosh, where is it? It's right there on my calendar, so I can just copy paste it and I'm done with my flight. And so it's just streamlining. That's what the systems do on streamlining. All right, cool. So here we are on the this is just talking about like the perfect day, your daily habits and things like that. Here's the thing. It talks about how should you get motivated to review your goals. And my main thing that I made a note on here is, are you motivated and are you doing daily motivation and daily goals yet? And I would bet just as many agents as I've coached, most of you really aren't doing daily goals and sitting down with that brain time. Most of you are not. Some of you probably are. Every single day you're looking at not a to-do list, but it's like, what's the have to do list? That's your 411. If you get into the habit of reviewing your 411 every single day, that will actually bring your motivation time up, because it should only be things that are growing your business, and they're the actual activities that are going to grow your business. So are you jumping out of bed to find out what you got to get done today on your 411, right? It's like, if you look at your 411 and go, oh, I have to get one appointment today. Ugh, I have to make 20 calls to get one appointment. You should be excited about that. And if you believe in your 411 and it's set up right, I mean, that should be what's motivating you to jump out of bed. I always make my notes here just to make sure I cover stuff. So successful agents take time every single day for the activities that you've been doing during Ignite. Ignite was written from successful agents that took all the core stuff they do. They do it every day by habit. And when we say successful agents, we're talking about like the MREA agents, the people that are making $1 million. They never stop lead generating and they never stop following up. Now, here's what I want to say about that. Are you doing it on purpose, or are you just kind of letting it happen? Because you could also say, oh yeah, I lead generate every day and I follow up every day. I go out, I talk to people, I'm seeing people, I call people on the phone, I'm looking for business. But do you do it on purpose? And do you do it every single day? And do you connect with enough new people that you actually add 5 people to your database? I'm going to hammer this a little bit today, because when you get that core down, guys, and you're feeding command 5 people a day or whatever database you're using, but it really, if you want command to be as awesome as it sounds like it's going to be, or that it is already, right? It's already better than most databases. You got to use it every single day. And are you doing it on purpose, or are you just kind of letting it happen? The other thing is when you're running your business and growing your business, be very careful on the next 9 sections. We're going to talk about running the business. You don't want to get stuck there. If you're stuck in running the business, you're not growing your business. So what I just said right there, if it were me sitting there listening, I'd be like, all right, I got to go back through these 9 Spark things before we start Elements, because that's the grow the business. That's the most critical part of anything I should get out of everything that we've done here, is that grow part. The run will just help you manage the chaos that is about ready to come your way. Guys, listen, you want to get streamlined and you want to have awesome systems, feed 5 people a day every day for the next 12 months. That's 1,200 people in your database. You're not going to know how to handle that business, but you will, because if you do 5 a day, you're going to ease into the 1,200 people. You're going to ease into the 120 transactions. You're going to be able to do it all and grow into it. If you export and import 1,200 people and blast out the ultimate friendship letter and say you're giving away $10,000 to anybody that'll be your friend, I mean, you still can't handle the business because you didn't grow into it. You didn't use the database every day. You didn't figure out the systems and the campaigns. They'll be your friend until they collect the $10,000 and then they're gone. It's like, where'd all my friends go? I just spent $100 million, right? Buying my friends. So don't get stuck there, right? If you aren't growing your business, you're what? Dying, right? I can see you guys all saying it. Dying, 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 right? All right. So on grow the business, some of those things that run the business after you're growing your business, this run the business, where we're going to talk about some of the things like, let me see here, run, grow. I think it might be the next slide here. Nope, a little bit ahead of myself. So on growing the business, you're going to have like, or running the business is marketing your sellers listings. I'm going to run through these, but I want to give you guys some quick tips on a couple of things. Marketing your seller listings, showing buyer houses, negotiating contracts, transaction management, vendor management, setting goals, compliance risk management, attending training and coaching, and managing your money. Those are like the 9 things that you do as a successful agent to run your business. So I want to pick on a couple of them. Marketing seller listings. When I say marketing seller listings and you're running your business, you want to grow your business too, right? So how exciting is it when you get a listing before you, as soon as you hit the go button on MLS, you got 10 calls, you got 5 offers, and you sell the house like within an hour of hitting the market, right? How exciting is that, or would that be? And would you be like, sold my house in 1 hour, right? Okay, grow the business. What grew your business from that listing? So you got all this effort. You grew your business by a listing and you collected a commission check. And you might be selling them a house. But if you were really talking about leverage at a masterful level, what did you do to grow your business from that listing? So you got all this effort to get the seller to trust you, sign the listing paperwork, and they agreed to pay you the commission. What could you have done to grow your business from that listing? Or what does your marketing plan for that listing look like to grow your business? Let me say this. I learned to get really ticked off if I sold my house that fast and did not capture any leads off of it. So there's people that are doing this kind of in reverse. They're doing the pre-listings and no showings for the first 2 weeks because they want to accumulate buyer leads. So in my opinion, that's collecting buyer leads. If you're good at converting, that might be a good strategy. But what you're not doing for your seller client is you're getting the buyer that's going to be the most interested, who's on the market right now that just lost one yesterday. They're not going to wait till next week to see how many offers they have to compete again. The next listing that comes live and it's close to what they would like, and they might have loved your listing, they're going to buy that one. They're not going to wait around to see yours. They can't see it. So it was a tactic to get buyer leads. So why not reverse that? It was what I would challenge. And that's how I set up my marketing plan. I reverse it that I go live instantly so I can capture all the current buyers in the marketplace, and I can capture all the other co-op agents that are working with the buyers that'll pay the most money for my seller's house property right then, and they'll fight over it. Because a week or two later, those people that would fight, that were waiting for it, now we've just got the new buyers that are coming into the market. So I'm going to gain by making it live instantly. I told you guys I have the 1 hour instant on listing, and it's all done and it's live, right? So when that happens, I get the most exposure, I get all that. However, I have to have all my marketing channels in place within that hour as well. And I got to use an easy example, even though it may not be cutting edge technology anymore, but it's like the sign writers with the 1-800 number on it. I hopefully, I don't know if you guys even get signs on a lot of stuff. It didn't matter if the sign was in the front yard. That 800 number showed up everywhere. We added it in realtor.com. We added it in all the stuff where we could direct leads back to us on Facebook or Craigslist or wherever we put all of our listings. That 800 number was there, and the code that they typed in to listen to the information about the house. That's why I say it might be a little out of date, but maybe not, right? They called, they listened to information about the house. It was caller ID capturing their number and paging it to us instantly. We were generating carrying about 30 listings, we would generate about 400 leads a month. 30 to 40 listings, we would generate about 400 leads a month on that. So that 800 number went up the minute that I listed the house. Like if I was showing up in the driveway and they signed the listing paperwork, sign went in the yard. So while I was driving back to the office, I already had 3 or 4 calls off of the 800 number. Like, I don't know if they're calling the sign as much, but wherever it is, QR code, website link, all that stuff is set up so that the minute it goes live, you are capturing buyers. So think about that. when you're running your business and growing your business, I was mad if we did not capture 3 new buyers off every single listing. Like that was a failure in my book. So yeah, I sold the house fast. I didn't get any buyers off of it. What a waste. I just lost that leverage, because that's the best way to get buyers. And another reason why, when I had a team of 4 buyers agents and I'm the listing agent, isn't it weird that our goal was to get 3 buyers off every listing so I could keep them, have them with leads coming in on these listings, and they could possibly sell our own listing. But I would sell as listing agent as much or more than all my buyers agents. And that's because we weren't always capturing 3 buyers. And if at one time I had 4 buyers agents, if my goal is 3 buyers off every listing, I'm short 1. So I'm always going to come up short. But by the time those get divvied out, they're doing about the same or just a little bit less business if they're not converting. Does that all make sense? Right? So what are you doing on your listings? The other one is vendor management. We talked a little bit about this. Are you creating an unbelievable network of every single person in your community that fixes decks, fixes windows, plumbing, everything you can imagine in your community, handyman, painter, all that stuff, even beyond that, like storage units, car detailing, any of that kinds, gym memberships. Are you connecting with the people in your community and getting them in your database so that you, when you make your calls, because we already know 98% of the people we talk to are not moving right now. So now we need to connect, right? The 1 or 2% that are moving right now will tell us they're moving. You don't even have to ask them. They're going to tell you. You're a realtor and you're on the phone. They can't not tell you, right? They're going to. The 98% though is to have conversations around, you know, what's your favorite place to go eat? Go interview, hear people talking about interviewing restaurant owners and doing that kind of stuff. Plug into the community and have that lifestyle, be that lifestyle connection for the community where they call you for everything. Because just about everything, painting, dumpster removal, handyman, plumber, all that kind of stuff sparks a call back to you. And usually when some of that stuff's happening, there can be a conversation around, how's your house working out for you? Oh man, this thing's falling apart on us. We need to get rid of it. That's how you're going to find real estate. So be a connector, one thing. Let me give you one more on that. If you guys make it a goal to connect with what, they can be part of your 5 for the day for all I care. I mean, you get to add as many as you want and whoever you want. But if you connect and you write them a handwritten note and you put them on your 8x8, what? You're buying their entire database because you're referring them, you're branding yourself just like you are anybody else you meet, and you're branding realtor, realtor, realtor when they're talking to their database and they're calling them the plumber or the painter or the trash removal guy because they need to clean their house out and get it ready to sell. Who better to be on your drip plan than them? And you're dripping 8 times in 8 weeks and 36. It's not just for buyers and it's not just for sellers. It's for everybody. Have a generic plan. So you get them on there, you become top of mind in their mind, and you just bought their whole entire database because you're the first person they're going to mention. Oh, I know who you need to call. You need to call Brad Korn, right? I've got one guy. He's just a auto mechanic, Christian Brothers Automotive. He, every week he calls me and goes, has my buddy Tim called you yet? Has my buddy Tim called you yet? I'm bugging him. He thinks he's going to sell this thing himself. And I told him, I mean, he got just crazy after a couple of calls saying, I'm telling you, call freaking Brad Korn right now before you do anything. Finally, he called, right? So anyway, it's just that kind of stuff because I send Tim stuff. I've done business with Tim and I'm sending him referrals. So he's out there promoting me. How many of you just went, holy smokes, I'm glad I came today, right? Give me a thumbs up. That way you don't have to all unmute, right? All right, cool. So let's see here. Good, we're doing great here. So setting weekly and daily objectives. I'm just gonna bring back the 411, guys. Remember, or no, not the 411. I got the wrong thing. I got out of line here. The 411, I printed it off. Get that thing out. Learn to use this sucker, right? This is your must-do list. And I'll recap it real quick. Make 52 copies because there's 52 weeks, right? So for the year, on all 52 sheets, you're going to write your annual goals. What do you want to accomplish in the next 12 months? Or you can even do, not 52, but 20 something, whatever weeks are left in the year, and do till the end of 2021. What's your goal that you want to accomplish by the end of the year, right? Now you have to take that goal, if it's dividable or however it is to get there, divide it by 5, because there's what, 5 months left in the year, right? I think we're in August, right? 5 months left in the year. So what's on 4 of these sheets, right? What needs to happen this month to work towards step 2? Then on the next 5 sheets, right? What needs to happen that next month? That's your monthly goal. And then from your monthly goal, you're going to take those 4 sheets and you're just going to write week 1. Right now, we're in week 2. So you're just going to throw 1 sheet away. You're going to start with the next sheet. It's got your monthly goal and your annual goal, what needs to happen in August. So this second week here, what needs to happen to get 1/4 of this completed, right? So if it's to take 4 listings this month, which is real easy to do, you guys can do that. 4 listings is 50 sales a year, 50 listings a year, not even sales, right? But take 4 listings. It's take a listing every single week, and you stay on the phone until you get that listing appointment, right? So, and maybe it's just 4 listing appointments, and the goal is to close 40 homes this year by the end of the year or whatever. So just down here, it's like, what is it going to take to get that 1 appointment? So maybe that's your goal, is just 4 appointments a month, which, again, that's still a challenge in today's market. All right, so the 411, really like bring that thing into your life. It is awesome. Okay, so on the 80-20, the main thing I want to talk about this, and I've talked about this before, we talked about the 80-20 principle, and Stephen Covey kind of uses the bucket analogy, that when you're looking at your time and everything, a lot of times people will put the sand into the bucket first, and then they put some pebbles in there. Now they got these big rocks that you can't add. We talk about big rocks, like what are the main things you need to do every single day, right? That same analogy, if you put the big rocks in first and then the pebbles, even though if you filled the bucket up with sand and did that exercise, the rocks will not fit in your bucket. If you put the pebbles in and you put the rocks in, or big rocks in, then the pebbles, and then you fill it up with sand, you can get it all into the bucket. And so it's about doing your big rocks first. So one thing I want to tell you guys is, I said it before, but I want to make sure everybody hears it again. 80% of what you did yesterday, 80% of your day, everyone on this call, 80% of what you did yesterday actually generated 20% of your income. It's 80-20 rule. 80% of your efforts get 20% of the results. 80% of what you did yesterday generated 20% of your income. I'll say it one way differently, is that 20% of what you did yesterday generated 80% of your income. I mean, if you catch this, I'm telling you, if you want to double your business, if you like to have your dollar amount that's coming in increase, all you have to do is do the 20% stuff to double 40% of your day. Whatever your day looks like. If you're working 4 hours, we're talking 40% of your day is just under 2 hours, right? 2 hours of your day focused on the 20% will double your income, because 20%, that new 40% number is still 20% of your day, and it's generating 80% results. So you can double your income just by not even spending half your day doing the right activities. 411, adding your 5 people a day, writing the notes. Those things will actually naturally make it happen. It's just going to show up to where your phone just rings. So, what I would say is, do you have an accountability partner? Do you have somebody to really keep you on track to get your 5 a day and do your 5 notes and focus on the right activities, right? One of the exercises, I think I talked about it here in a minute. But any questions on the 80-20 rule real quick? So here's how you translate your weekly goals into daily objectives. You basically you identify it, it's got to be metric driven. So what is your goal, first of all, right? And then how are you going to measure it? So What's the goal? I got to grow my business. I need to feed it every day. Okay. If it's measurable, what's the measure? I need to add 5 new connections to my database every single day, no matter what, and write 5 notes. Attainable. Do you have the right systems and tools in place to do that? So one of the things I always challenge on databases is the best database is the one you're actually going to use. So if you don't have, if command is not the right tool with you, no matter what, you're not going to use it, you are anti, then you need to go find 3 databases and maybe even run command along with 2 others. If you don't like command and you're just not doing it, go find 2 other databases. They'll give you 30-month trial, a 30-day trial, and feed a couple people in this one, a couple people in that one, a couple people in that one. Just feed them in. Remember, for 30 days, you got free trial. So for the next week or 2, just feed people in. See which one you like, which one can get people in quicker, because it's about capturing them and getting them in the database first, right? And then it's like, which one can I actually use to follow up or put a drip plan in place? You might find one you like better. Gary Keller doesn't care. He wants you to use the database you're going to use and put people in it every day and drip on it in 8x8 and 36 touch and grow your business. He wants you to be a millionaire. He wants you to make $1 million in real estate. I don't think he cares what database we use. He used a card 6x4 card system or whatever it was. Okay, and then your purpose. Is it in alignment with your weekly, monthly, and annual goals? So back to the 411. Is that fitting in there? Are you doing the right activities? So, and I'm just using that 5 people as an example, but run everything through this scenario. And timely, when does this goal need to be accomplished? So if you're adding 5 people a day, then you're saying, I will increase my database count by 100 every month for the next 6 months. And this is where I tracked the database on a big team that I was working with on their expansion program, and the people on the team is they were adding 5 people a week. 5 people a week is going to continue to get you a business. And it was all natural. They weren't doing 5 a day. They weren't adding 25 people a week. They weren't adding 100 people a month. They were adding 5 people a month, actually. There was 10 people on the team. They're all selling one-offs and 2-offs here and there, but nothing was consistent. So you're not going to get that if you don't grow it consistently. 5 people in a month is only 5 days out of the whole month that they added anybody to their database. And that was just somebody who was ready to go look at houses. They didn't do anything with anyone else. So let's see here. Kind of bring us into the end and be available to ask questions. So time blocking, I mean, I will show you guys. Give me a thumbs up if you're able to see my calendar. It should be showing up, right? Thumbs up. Is the calendar there? I see a thumbs up. Yes. So this is like my real calendar here. If you're looking at today, we're in Ignite right now. I've got showings with a buyer. I've got a CMA. I got to go meet Google Fiber at my condo, and then I have to go list the townhouse. See, remember when I said green is new dollars coming in? These are new dollar activities that are going to bring new dollars to the counter. But look at this. Look at this day. These are my big rocks. I have to be at these appointments. I've got a chiropractic appointment. And my red is similar to orange, where it's just stuff I have to be there. Can't have somebody else go to my chiropractor appointment for me, right? This is my networking group where I get referrals every time I go. Doctor's appointment. So over here, we got the first Chiefs game and Chloe's wedding. So all that stuff, I call them my people appointments. I don't know that I necessarily call them big rocks like we're always talking about when we're goal setting and stuff, but they are the places I have to be. That white space on there is what I can fill in with other stuff, where it's writing notes, getting the people in the database, the admin stuff, whatever needs to get done still needs to get done, but it can't get done during those times. So my big rock, if it is going to St. Louis to take our daughter to school and get her dorm room set up, it's blocked out for the day. So nothing can go in that spot. That is a big rock, right? Is being there. And I didn't have to go, but I wanted to go. So I blocked it off my calendar. So I just booked appointments around it. So time blocking, I use it as my people appointments where I personally have to be. Let me see. If you guys want to exercise to find out where we were talking about the 80-20, 20% of the activities you did yesterday generated 80% of your your money.
Yeah.
If you want to really track that, go get a week at a glance calendar from a title company. This is a really, I mean, I'm going through this fast, but it's an intense thing that will change your life. Get a week at a glance, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, usually starts about 7 a.m. and goes till 7 p.m. or 9 p.m., right? Get it from a title company somewhere. Open up, turn your watch alarm on to go off every 30 minutes for the next 2 weeks. Book it out, schedule the clock, just open it up and write down what you're doing every 30 minutes. Write down whatever it is, no filter, no nothing, just write down what you're doing when that alarm goes off. Do that for 2 weeks. Then at the end of the 2 weeks, go back through the calendar, highlight anything that green was, showing a property where you could write a contract or getting a listing appointment, contract signed. Any of that stuff that was new dollar activities, green. Anything that's your big rocks that you have to be there for and you can't have somebody else go do it for you, color that orange. The yellow is cautionary, and that's pretty much everything else, because it's something that could be done by somebody. Even if you're doing it now, you don't just run out and hire somebody to take all the yellow off your calendar. Just know that the longer you're doing those, you're keeping yourself from getting more green. And so what you do is start filling in more green in the white space on your calendar, double your green space, and then you can afford to bring somebody in to take some of the yellow stuff off your plate. And then you fill that in with more green stuff, and then you can afford to bring in the next person. They'll take more yellow off your space. Pretty soon you're building a team before you know it. All right, just about done here. So this is the last thing I want to share on, is being accountable. Guys, here's the thing. Your team leader, your productivity coach, if you have a MAPS coach, if you have any of this stuff, being accountable is about go back through your notes and put the stuff that you highlighted out there. Like, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell Mary Beth, tell the TL, tell your productivity coach, tell any coach, any office person, or somebody in the group that you're working with. Tell them what you highlighted in today's class and when you hope to have that in place. Just tell them. You got to put it out to the world if you want to do it. Now, I told you I had one big secret thing I wanted to share with you, and we're right at the end. I know you guys are probably now learning. Put an extra 5 minutes in for Brad. It's good stuff. Teach one section. Like, go through your notes and everything that you highlighted. Just print off the pages of Ignite where that thing is talked about, or where we had it in the notes. Teach a class on your biggest ahas and the 5 things you want to implement into your business that you learned from Ignite. Teach it every week for like 12 weeks, or twice a week for 12 weeks. Guys, how I did page 133 through 138, 133 through 148 in the MREA book, 8x8, 33 touch. The way I got that done was I taught it in my office every single week, and I didn't care if anybody showed up. If nobody showed up in the training room, I just sat down and I actually taught the class still, just like I was teaching it. And when I first started teaching it, I literally had to say, so I've read these pages like 5 times, and I want this so bad. I'm teaching this class until it's in place, right? So I would talk about stuff, and now I've done this, and here's how I did it. The rest of it was, we were just kind of going through the book and talking about the theory and how I thought it looked and how I was working my way. But every time I taught the class, I was teaching the next step and what I was experiencing and how I got through that and got to the next level. And I just taught it until I did it. And that is probably the biggest, best thing I can give you today, is load up the calendar. I mean, you guys should be fighting over space on the calendar. It doesn't matter if anybody shows up or not. You can do it all by Zoom. Doesn't matter if anybody shows up on the Zoom. Just go through and do it. Teach those 5 things or those 6 things that you want to apply from the material, and then you're reviewing the material again and again and again, right? So this was the last thing I will tell you about on accountability, is when you have somebody holding you accountable. I'm going to come back to the bell curve thing, right? So this is the 80 percenters, and this is where the average people hang out. As you really start putting this Ignite stuff into place, you're going to be leaving the pack behind. You actually get on the path to 100 sales a year by doing 5 people a day. I mean, these people are going to tell you how that really doesn't work, how command's broken. You can't really make it work. It's not going to work. And they want to keep you right here because that's where it's comfortable for everybody. And they like you, right? But as you come over here and you start getting away from them, you're going to feel like you're out on an island by yourself. There's some people you just really can't hang around because they're going to keep you here. But when you break through to the other side, and this is the people, this is a lot of like the people you see on stage at family reunion. This is what I call the 16%. Everybody from here on over is the 20%. So 16% of those people, there's an average in the middle, right? And they're going to suck you over to them because they're having fun over here. They're in the top 20% of the agents. They got a pretty comfortable business. But as soon as you start getting on purpose and building the systems and plans to get your phone ringing and you're actually doing 100 deals a year, you're leaving them again. The great news is really, I mean, I've been out here teaching this and speaking this forever. There is not a couple dozen people that I can go to and go, we're all doing the same thing. So I left that and I'm now over in this group where the top 3% of the agents are in the company. These people are doing 100, they're actually probably doing more like 200, 300 transactions a year. And that's the people that I hang out in, and they pull me over there and make everything easier, and everybody's helping each other. When you go out of that and you go to the 1%, that's somebody that's closing 1,000 transactions a year, there's a smaller group of people, but everything changes in that top 3 and 5%. It becomes more about life, and it becomes more about less stress, and it becomes more about systems, and it becomes more about leverage. And so you're hanging around all that stuff to where they actually help you build a business that gives you that life worth living, the business worth owning, and all that stuff. So that is our session for today. Again, I'm getting a little better, just went about 5 minutes over. Anybody have any questions on anything or need clarity on anything, or how was today for you? All good stuff? All right.
Thank you,
So
Brad.
again, yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to say, I was just saying thank you.
You bet. I hope this is just getting you guys excited about it. And again, that commitment to stick with it all the way to the end. Every session will be like this. Every session is going to probably give you more ahas than you can handle. But remember, you got to hear them like 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 times, and they will naturally show up in your business. So right now, as you're struggling to get through this stuff, if it's hard, to go back through and look at your high and get it started and do the 5. And the more you go through it and the more you hear it, it gets easier and easier. And it might be 3 ignites from now before you actually get to 5 a day, every single day for a month straight, right? So one of the things that was in your toolbox is a 66-day challenge. I do this in my gym. I write 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. I get 20 minutes on the bike every single day. And every single day I put an X on it. If I miss a day, I got to start all over. I want 66 solid days of 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day. And if you do it for 2 weeks, have a reward right here. Like, what do you just take yourself out for something to buy, spend a little money on something really nice. If you get through it through a month, do something that you haven't done that you would love to do. You just haven't never taken the time to do it, and reward yourself and make those little gifts a little bit higher every time until you do it for 66 days. So, because we know in the one thing, it's 66 days to a habit, and it used to be 21 days to a habit, right? 21 days, you're just developing the right consistency to start to be a habit, but it's not a habit yet. How many of you have done 21 days and it's not a habit? Workouts, not a habit, right? If you go 66 days, it's still not anchored. It's different for everybody. But if you do it for 66 days straight, you are about ready. I mean, it could become a habit. It's past the 21, better than 21, but it's not a habit yet for some people. So you stick with it until it's a habit. Like, I don't even know I do 5 a day. I feed my database every day. My business grows every day. My phone rings every single day with appointments. So anyway, great stuff today, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad.
You betcha.
I'm back on the phone. See you.
Remember, it's 10:30 on Friday, 10:30.
Gotcha.